Good evening and welcome to the February board meeting. March. Sorry. Give me a break. It's only been 2 days. March. And we're having two this month, aren't we? We're having one on March 30th. All right. So we are going to call for the adoption of the agenda, please. You'll have a motion. Second. All right, Mr. Blake and Ms. Evans, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and we will move to our opening reflection, and we are going to ask Mr. Max Garner to give that this evening.
We'll try to do something that is going to make Brian happy. I'll try to be faster than you are normally.
Oh, all right.
That'll make me very happy.
But just going up, I remember a time, and you all remember, some point 20 plus years ago, I just moved into my house. I had two small boys, and we went to the backyard in the middle of the night, wrapped up the boys, and saw the most incredible meteor shower I've ever seen in my life. And it taught me just how small it was. The boys are gone, and it didn't take long for that to happen. I remember a gentleman named Henry Nowlan, who was always talking about something good. But he said life is just a little while. And it is. My father used to want me to go places, and he'd love to call me and say, I'm going to go so and so, would you come with me? And I always had the same question, and I always got the same answer. My question was, how long are we going to be gone? And his answer was, just there and back. I went anyway, but I knew it was not a there and back. Life just, to me, is a there and back. You don't know when you start how long it's going to be, but I guarantee you that the back goes a whole lot faster than the there goes. With that in mind, I would say that my time here has arrived for me to put that away and go on to swim. 30, give or take, years. I started with Carol Brewer and ended with Dr. Rosewell. And that's a long enough span for anybody, believe me. Only one board member has been here most of the time that I was here, and you were here when I got here, and you're going to be here when I'm leaving, Tom.
Well, I'm leaving right after.
There you go. Now, I want to tell you that with all the superintendents I've served with, and all of the board members that I've served for, they all had one thing in common, and one thing I appreciated beyond measure, and that is that they all, to a person, care more about the children than they care about themselves. And to me, that's what you want and what you look for. Board members get criticized. They don't make enough money for the criticism they get. And when they're getting that criticism, they can't respond because most of the time it's something about a personnel issue and they're not allowed to discuss it. So they have to sit there and take it and go on about their business and still care more about the kids than they care about themselves. And I appreciate every opportunity I've had. I'm going to end it just by quoting another of my favorite writers, a gentleman named Richard Rohr. And this is not a religious piece. It's So I'm gonna go through it and you'll understand in the end of it. But Richard Rohr says it's not a belief in God that sets us apart. It's the kind of God in which we choose to believe that in the end makes all the difference. These folks have made a difference, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you. That'll do it.
Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate your service.
Yes. I don't think you were shorter than me.
No.
Ron was
Sorry, Brian.
So we're going to try to do this each month where a different board member has a chance to speak so that you get to hear from each of us. So we're going to probably start on that side. So Miss Taylor, you're going to be up next if you want to. If not, we'll pass to the next. But I just want to give opportunity to each board member to be able to speak so you hear from everybody. All right, we're going to move on to our Pledge of Allegiance, and we have students from Montgomery Learning Academy, Breasia McCoy, and from Star Elementary, Gracie Kivett and Peyton Reza. If y'all would come forward up front here. Are we missing? All right, you're going to do it solo? All right. Are you Gracie or Peyton? Gracie. Nice to meet you. All right, you tell us when to start. Ready?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gracie,
Good job.
I've got something for you here, and they're going to take a picture, okay? So if you'll hold that up nice and pretty and turn around and face those ladies. There you go.
Good job.
Good
Did a
job,
great
Gracie.
job.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so now I'm going to be calling on Dr. Cagle. You're already heading this way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, School Board, and Dr. Roseborough. I want to bring up our athletic director, Ms. Panzer, with me. We're going to talk about our athletes that made the state playoffs. Not only are these kids getting it done in the classroom, they're getting it done on the sports fields. So come on up, Ms. Panzer, we're going to call them in, and I'm going to be quicker than Max.
And we'll have to get pictures with each group. Ms. Painter's there.
These are our two cross-country representatives, David Marquez Castro and Gabby Vera. Our boys cross-country team finished second in the conference this season, and girls finished fifth. And our Mr. David Castro right here was all-conference, qualified for the state championship, and is our first qualifier in state history at Montgomery Central. Gabby also is an all-conference member.
Good job.
Coach Dunlap can be here tonight.
He's coaching the tennis match tonight. for the
I think
men's,
Ms.
so.
Ipps is going to come down and we'll get a picture with him. That coach can be.
He's coaching a tennis match tonight.
Good job.
Coach Bustle, men's soccer. Coach Bustle's soccer team finished 22-2 overall. They are our conference Pac-7 champs. They made it to the fourth round of state. Coach Bustle is our conference coach of the year and our regional coach of the year this season. Jaden Edens right here is our offensive Pac-7 player of the year, all conference, all region, and all state. We also received the defensive player of the year. He couldn't be here this evening. He had to work, which is Jared Duran.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Coach Carpenter. This is our men's football coach, and Noah Rodriguez and Jacob Strider. They finished the season 5-7 overall, finished 5th in the conference, second round of state playoffs, and we received 8 all-conference members, both of these young men. And we'd like to recognize Noah for also continuing his football career at Randolph-Macon in the fall.
Go Yellow Jackets.
Congratulations. No, they got that.
We gotta go home and study.
Good job, though.
Good job. Congratulations, guys. Proud of you.
Women's tennis, Coach Cagle. Our student athletes representing our tennis team is Emily Aguilar and Anasia Robinson. They finished their tennis season 14-3 overall. They are co-conference champs. They made it to the third round of the state playoffs, and our duo doubles right here finished second in regionals and placed in the state finals, both all conference players, and Miss Emily is our conference player of the year.
Good job, though.
Come on, Miss Claire.
This out here.
Claire's representing the volleyball program. We finished the season 4-18, 6th in the conference, and played North Davidson in the first round of state. And Claire is representing us and is an all-conference player. We'd also like to recognize Izzy Sewell, who could not be here tonight because she is in her interview for the Moorhead Kane Scholarship. So she would have been here with us.
Good job.
Congratulations. Not trying to embarrass you. I also wanted to recognize Miss Panzer and Miss Talbert, who traveled with our girls' basketball team this past week, and we know you guys went on an adventure, and we're very appreciative that you guys got back safely, all in one piece, and thank you for keeping the girls calm and everything and getting back safely.
And the
We
parents.
appreciate you and the parents.
The highway, we were all lined up.
Yes, we stayed on the phone throughout the evening, texting back and forth, so thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
y'all.
you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm so excited. I'm going to move on. So our next is Employee of the Month, and we will start with Dr. Roseborough going down, and we're going to do MLA first, Montgomery Learning Academy.
All right, congratulations this evening to Ms. Kim Turner from Montgomery Learning Academy. She's our Certified Employee of the Month, and they're receiving certificates from Urari Mercantile, and also Carlton Johnson, Classified Employee of the Month. Congratulations to you both.
Good job, folks.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, guys. All right, our next is Star Elementary.
Will Miss Danielle Hurley come up? She is our Certified Employee of the Month from Star, and Lynn Manis from Star Elementary for Classified Employee of the Month. Sorry.
Good job, ladies.
So the next is our special recognition. And we'll call Dr. Amy Reynolds forward, please. Where's the purple?
We are recognizing Miss Dr. Amy Reynolds for her service to Montgomery County Schools. She has led the way at Montgomery Learning Academy, and we are very appreciative of her service and hard work to the students of Montgomery Learning Academy. So we wanted to appreciate you and recognize you for your hard work, and we have a certificate for you for your retirement, as well as a little token of our appreciation. We would give you more if we had it. We know that is a hard job that you are leaving, so you can never be replaced. Okay, so thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, and next we'll call on Mr. Brian Helms for the boots on the ground.
Dr. Mason. There she is. Yeah, she's here.
It's you.
And the team.
And the team. Absolutely.
Come on up.
So you
Come
got
on
more,
up.
more here with you.
I have the whole team
You
here.
got a little speech.
Come on up.
I like it.
I have the whole team.
We got a little speech. Come get mine. Come get the
We're presenting this, Boots on the Ground to the Educational Services Department. They have hit the ground running this year
You
and
got
made
the
a
boots?
lot of improvement
Thank you.
to our program. So there it is.
You got the boots, we hit the ground running.
Thank you, folks.
And we would like to thank the Mercantile because they did donate the gift certificates for our employees of the month. So we appreciate that. Next, we'll move to the public comment period, and we do have one signed up, Ms. Sherry Allgood. If you'll move to the podium, please. We'll set our timer for 3 minutes. There's a copy of the policy code 2310 there if you have any questions about that.
All right, thank you so much. All right, good evening, board members. Thank you for this opportunity to share an important update about our community and to recognize an exceptional leader who has made a real difference for our young people. My name is Sherry Allgood, and I do serve as the Executive Director of Sand Hills Cooperation Association. On February 21st, we hosted the 2026 Black Journey Continued Service Awards, an annual celebration recognizing community champions across our 5-county region: Montgomery, Moore, Randolph, Richmond, and Stanley counties. This celebration is more than just an award ceremony. It's a powerful reminder of what happens when we invest in our communities and lift up those who are making a real difference. This year, we celebrated 85 community champions, and we honored 25 outstanding award winners. Over 300 people attended: teachers, business leaders, volunteers, and young people who are shaping the future of our region. But I'm here today for a specific reason, and that is to publicly thank and recognize Dr. Karen Roseborough, Superintendent of Montgomery County Schools. Dr. Roseborough didn't just attend our event as a spectator. She came to support the outstanding young people from Montgomery County who are recognized for their service and leadership. That was Iman Freeman, Leja Britton, Isaiah Callahan, DeJuan Wright, Alfred Cagle, Zaria Barrett, Tamber Flowers, Elistine Baldwin, Samaya Bowie, Anasia Robinson, Kamasha Taylor, and Avery Lilly. Her presence sent a powerful message to our youth. Your contributions matter. Your community sees you. Your leaders believe in you. In a time when young people are facing unprecedented challenges social pressures, academic stress, uncertainty about the future. Having a superintendent who shows up, who celebrates their achievements, and who invests in their success is invaluable. Dr. Roseborough's commitment to our students goes beyond the classroom. She understands that education is about developing the whole person, building character, fostering service, and inspiring young people to become the community leaders of tomorrow. SEA exists to build that stronger communities through collaboration and recognition. And what we are asking you as we are preparing for our 2027 Service Awards, as we're preparing already, consider nominating the young people who are making a difference in our community right now. In closing, I want to say this. Thank you, Dr. Roseborough, for your leadership, your vision, and your unwavering commitment to our young people. You are exactly the kind of leader our community needs. You inspire us all to do better, to reach higher, and to never forget that the future belongs to those who invest in today. Thank you so much.
Wow, you had that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to move forward with our administrative reports and discussion items, and I'm excited about our first one. It's some Montgomery Central High School students. They're coming to present, and maybe their instructor, I don't have their names.
Mr. Brown.
Yes, Mr.
They can
Brown.
introduce themselves.
Okay. When y'all come in, you can introduce yourselves, okay?
Hi, guys. Good to see you again. Okay. Okay. You want to turn and face the screen, or you can be on each side? You want to stand on each side? Okay.
Okay. Mr. Brown, do you want to tell them a little bit about this?
They'll tell us about the project.
Yeah, I was just gonna, well, they can, it's their show, but.
Yeah, he's stuck in the corner.
When we get the clicker, they've got a clicker set up to go through the slides that she has. Which laptop, is it this one?
Yes.
Plug it in at?
You guys came prepared.
So they, you gotta be ready, you gotta stay ready. So they identified, researched and solved a real world problem. They actually did theirs on test scores. And I'm not gonna, this is from our civics class, but I'm not gonna take any more of your time. I'm gonna let y'all hear from them. They'll do a better job of speaking than I will.
One of the things that was important for me, that was the average B student. Once we transitioned to online learning, my grades started declining to D's and F's due to poor structure, lack of focus, and no one there to hold me accountable for doing work behind school. Many students face these similar challenges like me, but I have not made a comeback, and I'm now a straight A student. But this is not the case for many students here in Montgomery County schools. My name is Daniel Lomas, and this is Area Goals, and we're here to talk about low test scores and how to solve it.
So what is the problem? The problem is that many students across the country are receiving low test scores and low test scores of decreasing. So all of this information is looking from the National Center for Education statistics. As you can see, there was a 7-point score drop from 2020 to 2022, and it was 7 points, and it was the first drop in math, and then there was a 5-point drop in reading, and it was the largest score drop since 1990. So the root causes of the issue we found, there's a lot of things going on. The main things that we found were money, absenteeism, and the pandemic. So money, that could be funding for schools, and a lot of schools in Florida areas can get lower test scores. Absenteeism, students that miss school and aren't in school every day miss valuable instruction time, which we set them behind in class. And the biggest setback that we found with the pandemic, many students, as we heard from Daniel, were less motivated to do work, didn't have access to the internet or proper devices, proper environment to do schoolwork, didn't have time to work with their teachers. And for me personally, I didn't get the pandemic. I've always gotten straight A's from school, and I kept them through the pandemic, but I felt like I didn't get proper amount of learning that I could have gotten in 5th grade or 4th grade, and it kind of set me behind a little bit in 6th grade where I could have gone farther. And if it was a struggle for me, students that were already behind, it could put them even farther behind, because they'll be missing foundational reading and math skills that can influence them up to high school and still impact them today. So here's our local connection. The local connection is, as you can see in 2018, our level 1 and 2 scores were just below 50%, and they grade 1 to 5 scores. This is for grades 3 through 8 math PAPs, and then for our math performance, here you see that there's a higher number of not participation scores level 1 and 2, and there's 0 level 5 scores. So this is my school, Montgomery Central. We received a C on the North Carolina school report card, like the regular report card. A's and B's are the best, and C's are D's and F's are closer to failing, so C's right in the middle. Our academic growth has gone up over time since the school opened, and I just got the data for it today, and I put it on there, so it's not updated, but we did go down in growth, but there are reasons for that. So chronic absenteeism is one of the big issue in our school. We have 23.94% of our students being chronically absent. If we could get this to go down and get all of our students to attend school, our growth could increase, our scores could increase. 55.9% of our students are economically disadvantaged, and you can see the schools that have higher levels of economic disadvantage. Students who perform lower, for example, a school in our district, Montgomery Elementary, I've got F's and like get really low scores, but that's because they have 70% economically disadvantaged students, and combining that with a lot of beginning teachers and not having a lot of resources, it can cause the schools to go down. So this is our test score. This is for 2024. Our highest score was biology with 48.2% proficiency, and English G with 35.6% proficiency. I can't remember the exact number, but 2025 it got up to like 47, 48. And still, we have amazing English teachers and so many really great ones who help prepare us for the test. Our lowest scores are in math, with 23.1% proficiency in math 1, and it dropped to 14.4% proficiency for 2025. And I think a big issue for that in math 1 is we didn't have a permanent math 1 teacher, but I think we probably have a teacher that would be good. And then another thing is our scores in math is going to be 22.6% proficiency in math 3. And that has gone up to, I think, about 27 or 28% this year, thanks to some great math teachers like Miss Alman, she got Teacher of the Year this year, and she's an amazing math teacher and helps students like us. So our solution, first step is to eliminate unnecessary testing. A lot of students are already over-tested and with the state tests that are required, I know it's hard to do that, but to make sure we get tests that are actually going to help us learn, and having one-on-one time tutoring support with our teachers during lunch or after school, giving help, providing opportunity. Our second part of the solution is to increase mental health support for teachers and students to convince them to help them show up to school, wanting to show up to school every day and do the best they can, and then to increase attendance is another. As a final step of our solution, if we could get our attendance rates higher, then more students can get the information they need in class. And some ways we thought to do this would be create attendance incentives where you have a set goal for students maybe coming to school for 2 weeks every day, and then their names get entered in a raffle to win a prize. And it doesn't have to be something that costs money, like something from a small snack or a free ticket to an athletic event, or extra recess for like the elementary school levels, or it can be a school-wide thing to see what schools have the most, like what classes have the most perfect attendance for 2 weeks, and they can get it.
Alright, how you can help? As a community member, donating could really help the school. As you can see, economically disadvantaged schools do tend to perform worse. So donating to an organization like AdoptAClassroom.org, which is a non-profit organization that connects you to a teacher or a school. Recently, we have received a donation from Troy Lumber, which a teacher like Mr. Brown used to buy Constitution booklets to be able to teach his class. And teachers used to buy basic necessities like, basic necessities. And as a student, you can have everything focused in class. And as a parent, making sure your kid gets school on time and goes to school, because as you can see, not being there is a really big problem. And these are all very basic factors that I'm telling you guys. But if we work on these things, we will see some improvement in our test scores.
And these are all of our work files and that information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Did you get a good grade on it?
Miss Cameron, mention Miss Cameron's name, she's got to give them an extra grade. Good job, Miss Cameron.
Don't need it from me.
Good job.
Well, they did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I know it's been a couple months since you had to present that, so
Yes,
good job.
yes, and you remembered every bit of it.
All right, next we'll have community schools with Miss Jessica Louder and Felicia Chambers. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for having us so that we can present to you this wonderful opportunity that we have at Mount Gilly Elementary School. And it is very, exciting to know that the kids just came up and they talked and their presentation aligns with what we are going to talk about. And it just makes me so happy that we have something in place that's going to help us to meet the goals that we want to have. So I will introduce, I'm Keisha Collins, principal at Mount Gilly Elementary.
My name is Jessica Louder. I work with Student U, and I have the privilege of serving all community schools across the Sandhills region.
And I am Felicia Chambers. I am the community school coordinator at Mount Gilly Elementary.
Daniel Jones, assistant principal at Mount Gilly.
So what we're here tonight to introduce to you is the Mount Gilly Elementary as a full-service community school. And if you will look at the quote by Dr. Roseborough, it says, community schools become the container, the overarching strategy that can enhance and connect all interventions in service of one comprehensive vision. So I'm going to go through the next few slides with you, and then my team will take over. Here you will see the 4 pillars. The 4 pillars of the community school models are built for interconnected pillars. I won't read all of it, but collaborative leadership, integrated student support, expanded and enriched learning, active family and community engagement. All of these act together as the guide through the community schools model. All right, next you will see the community framework. It's all the players in the community framework. Through this community framework, the North Carolina Schools Coalition and the framework uses guides the implementation of this program. The framework provides shared roadmap to help the schools implement the community schools model with fidelity. Here is the hub, the meat of the program. It is a family resource center. Through this family resource center, it is dedicated space that is inside the school to support the family's basic needs. It provides food, clothing, and many other items that are in there inside the center. They can apply for jobs, also connect community resources and that makes the center accessible and trusted for the community. What we know, why, is to supply the basic needs. If the basic needs are not if the basic needs are not met, learning is impacted. The family resource centers remove barriers by meeting those basic needs. So if you look here, the family engagement, all of these bullets are what supports the family engagement. And these are just examples of family resource centers throughout the Sandhills region.
So I will speak next a little bit of how this work of community schools has grown. So just to put some things on the map, in July of 24, we started with 9 schools. There are sometimes just one school within a district that's a community school, or there are multiple, so that's why the dots don't match the number of schools. But in 24, we had 9 schools, and then July of 25, we have expanded to 23 schools, and then as of January 26, we just started our Sandhills expansion, and we now have 41 designated full-service community schools. My dream is for every school to be a community school. Seen great impact and results for supporting families so far, and there are lots of plans to expand to the west next fall. Just to show that the alignment here to NC priorities, so the State Board of Education, the strategic plan under Pillar 3 specifically references community schools, so I just wanted to share that this is something, it's not new work. I know Ms. Chambers shared some of the articles. Community schools have been around for a long time, but not really here in North Carolina. It's kind of a new thing for North Carolina, but it's not new to the work that our teachers and schools and principals are doing every day. This is just work that can help take things off of the teachers' plates, because now you have that person that is dedicated to taking down those barriers for families.
Ms. Medley said we have 4 minutes left, so I want to make sure that we get this. Could we pass this? Could we pass this to the board members, please?
Yes.
You want me to? If you don't mind taking one and passing it around, please. Thank you so much. Well, just mainly this one, the school district alignment.
Okay.
Yeah, you can say that. All right, so the school district alignment is so important because one thing that we said from the beginning of the year is one team, one goal, every Gator ready. And so we look at one goal right here and the alignment of community schools with what we already have in place based on our school improvement plan. And so if you look at it, Ms. Chambers talked about the pillars earlier. So if you look at it and you can see how the pillars align to our school improvement plan, also our district goals. And so we want to make sure that those things are aligning. So because we know as educators, sometimes, you know, it can seem like one more thing to do. But if everything is aligned, then we're working towards one goal and we have one mission in mind. So I wanted you to have this so that you can see how communities and schools align with what we already have in place. So we're not doing something new, something extra. We are just kind of leveling up what we're already doing. And I think it's going to work great for our community, great for our schools, and amazing for our students. All right, so building bridges, growing gators. So we had a meeting, and during the meeting, we talked about what do we want to call our family resource center. So we wanted it to be something special, something where people knew that they could come and get information, where we could build their capacity, where we could make sure that our needs of our students are met. And so we came up with building bridges. So that's going to be the name of our family resource center, and we added a little part to it, growing gators. So this also aligns to our theme that we have this year. One team, one goal, every Gator ready. And so as we transition into next year, our theme is going to be building bridges, growing gators, because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure we're building bridges, closing gaps, and making sure our gators are growing each and every day.
So, excuse me, there's 4 impact areas that have already been assessed with previous community schools. And that's academic achievement, looking at absenteeism, improving absenteeism, graduation rates, and discipline data. School climate, family and community engagement, impacts characteristics, and retention of school staff, keeping those staff in those buildings. One partnership that's already been established, C4C and the Methodist Church have started a Sacred Grounds coffee shop in Mount Gilead. Half of their proceeds come back to Mount Gilead to help support our school and our students. We've already seen a lot of impacts just from having them in the building already. And then it also helps support health and social supports with access to mental health, housing, and of course food needs through the Grambling Resource Center.
So, on March the 20th will be our open house, and we're inviting the community, anyone available to come to the open house. The ribbon cutting will be at 2 o'clock, but the building will be open, for the Resource Center all day.
Excellent,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you all.
Great job.
All right, next we will move to Montgomery Learning Academy and Mr. Kirk Watts and Dr. Cable. Are you just here for support?
I'm just here for support if you need me.
Mr. Watts has got this.
Thank y'all for having us here tonight. Montgomery Learning Academy, again, we're the alternative school in the district. We go, and again, we help a lot of students from the middle schools and the high schools. First, we'll start off with our SIT goals, eliminating opportunity gaps by June 2028. 100% of students enrolled in Montgomery Learning Academy will graduate with their original 4-year cohort group as measured by North Carolina Department of Public Instruction's cohort graduation rate data. Improve student performance. Montgomery Learning Academy will increase its EVOS growth index from negative to a positive growth, demonstrating the students are making expected or greater than expected academic progress. Increase educator preparedness to meet the needs of every student. By the end of the school year, 100% of the instructional staff will complete at least 10 hours of professional development in differentiated instruction, trauma-informed practices, and restorative behavior supports. As a result, all staff will report increased confidence in meeting diverse student needs, which will contribute to improved student attendance. Our SIT goal indicators, the LEA school regularly looks at school performance data and aggregated classroom observation data and uses that data to make decisions about school improvement and professional development needs. And we do this in our PLCs. We also have a student assistance team that meets about twice a month. We try to review each student in the school and look at what they're needing and how we can better support them. A401, the school implements a tiered instructional system that allows teachers to deliver evidence-based instruction, allowing the individual needs of students across the tiers. And again, our PLC and our student assistance team really helps with identifying those goals. Instructional teams develop standards, align units of instruction for each subject and grade level. E103, all teachers systematically report to parents, guardians, and students' mastery of specific standards based on objectives. Our teachers do call-outs all the time. We check in on ed minimum as well. Again, because some of the courses, because we are a very small school, we have 4 instructional staff at the high school level, 1 at the middle school. We're not able to offer all the subjects, so we supplement with our ed minimum, and that's also in our presentation, and we make contacts with that as well. Our cohort graduation dropout rate data in 2022 to 23, our cohort was 97.77. Our 3-year average was 92.92, and we had 3 drops that year. 2023-24, our cohort was 97.56, and our 3-year average was 96.18, and we had 3 drops that year. 2024-25, we dropped a little bit to 93.33. Our 3-year graduation cohort rate was 96.22, and we had 2 drops. And the reason that we do our 3-year average, that's how the alternative school, doing an LEA, that's how we're graded. It's a little bit different than the traditional schools that you see. Our EVOS data, 22-23, we had negative 0.07, but that means we made it. We're right there in the whisker box spot where we need to be in between those whiskers. All right, 23-24, negative 1.73, we dropped a little bit, but we were still where we need to be for MET. 24-25, we went back to the negative 0.37 where we met. And again, our ultimate goal is to start getting positive ratings on that. Attendance goal is 90%. 2022-23, we had 85%. 23-24, we had 85%. And this is an overall average for the year. And 24-25, we had 87%. Currently, we're sitting around 86 right now. Out of school suspension, the past couple of years, we 21, 22, we were at 90, 22, 23, we had 180 suspension days. 23, 24, we had 210. Last year, 24, 25, we had 43. We implemented a lot of different systems that year where we talked more with the students about the infractions that they incurred, why it was important that we had these rules and understand how they were impacting each other and other people in the building. Again, a lot of restorative practices went into this with the students. Our demographics for 24, 25, we had a total of 75 students last year, 53 male, 22 female, 28 Caucasians, African American 21, Hispanic 26. Historically, MLI has enrolled more male students with nearly equal representation across all ethnic groups. I did not break down our demographics that much, but I looked at today, our total enrollment right now is 39 students. We have served 47 this year, 8 of those who have transitioned back to their traditional schools. So that's a big win, getting them back into their regular school, so they can, again, graduate with their cohort and their friends. We have 4 middle school students right now, 35 high school students. 7 students participate in remote online instruction from home. Our graduation progress, we have 4 students who graduated early. We have 8 students who have successfully met graduation requirements and will graduate this year early as well. 10 students are on track to graduate early. Program enrollment, we have 5 new student enrollments since the start of this semester. We have 4 students who are currently dual enrolled and completing online college coursework. 3 students who are fully attending MCC. And we have several students who are still pursuing Montgomery Scholar. I know I have 2 that should be finishing up with their welding certificates by the end of this year, hopefully.
I saw Cameron LeGrand today. He's still going.
Yep.
Makes me think of y'all every time I see him.
All right. I think I'm going to go ahead and go over our ALP. Again, we have ALP, which is an alternative learning placement suspension. This year, we have saved 206 days with 53 assignments. So, and some of those assignments are repeat assignments. Students come back up. Overall, the program continues to demonstrate strong academic progress with a significant number of students completing requirements ahead of schedule and actively engaging in dual enrollment and post-secondary opportunities. Failure is not an option. We make success possible. Again, personalized education plans tailored to each student's unique strengths, challenges, and goals, empower them to thrive academically and personally, transforming learning into a meaningful, customized journey. And we're going to go over how we do this personalized education plan in a minute. Montgomery Learning Academy will be a community of learners dedicated to student success, preparing them with the skills necessary to be productive citizens in a challenging society. Again, Montgomery Learning Academy will graduate college and career students by preparing them to succeed in globally diverse society, providing rigorous educational experiences, and building positive relationships with all members of our community. So when a student comes in, we meet with them and the parent. We look at their transcript and we go through what they've already accomplished, where they may have some deficits, and we get them back on track to when they go back to their home school, they are ready for graduation. We don't send them back with a deficit, we send them back where they need to be or a little bit better. Meet with the parents, we give them a schedule. If it's at the beginning of the year, it's a student we know we're going to have for the whole year, we go and plan out what we're going to have. If it's just by semester, we plan out what they'll need. We do offer credit recovery to students who may have failed a subject in the past to help them get caught back up with their graduation requirements. Again, we have our little academic learning contract, which follows the board and talks about the expectations of a student while they're there. One of the other things that we do, we partner with JCPC. We do the life skills program. Y'all probably heard this before. We have 12 sessions, 2 times a week for 6 weeks, and we use it's to make up absences. Lead the teachers are on the MOA staff. Matter of fact, we saw one of them tonight. She was our teacher of the month, Ms. Kim Turner. She leads this. She also works with our strengthening families. And again, they go through drug resistance skills, personal self-management skills, and general social skills. The two biggest ones that we really deal with is the personal self-management skills and general social skills. Luckily, we've not seen enough need to do the drug resistance, but it is working in there. Strengthening families, attend 1 night a week for 10 weeks, can be used to make up time for failure due to absences. So the old absence law, where students were failing because of that, we could use that to supplement and get them that credit back if they complete the course. The families receive each meal. Everybody in the household receives that meal. Once completed, they can earn a $100 Walmart gift card. Again, it's led by our teachers and our staff. Students who complete both of these programs, and Mr. Little will probably attest to this, and some of the other teachers there, those who have completed have not dropped out of school. I think we have a 100% success rate on students who have completed these programs and graduate. The other thing we have vaping circles. If they come to us for vaping, either THC or tobacco, we do vaping circles with Dr. John Powell. He also does our restorative justice. The other thing that we also do is community service. Our students that may have gotten in trouble with the law out in the community, parent petitions or things like that, we provide them the opportunity to get that community service, and we can also pay for restitution if need be. And again, all that's done through the JCPC grant, Restorative Practice, goes with that. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit. But we focus on building relationships. That's one of the biggest things that we do with our students. We sit down, we talk with them. We try to figure out what's aggravating them, what's bothering them. We see them when they come in the building. We watch them when they get off the bus and can tell if we're going to have an episode that day. And we try to head it off the best we can. M&M is this program that we use. Again, I discussed that earlier, to supplement what we're not able to offer in the classroom. And we have a school store in the middle school to help with behaviors. If they behave, they get points, and then they can trade it in for different things in the store. And it's again to help them learn that social skills that they need to be successful later on. Again, we have plenty of students, mentioned that earlier. They go through our CTE program, participate in CTE courses. You can see me there. I'm the taxi driver for that sometimes. Hadn't had the need for that this year. They've all been taken care of. They're either doing it online or they have their own transportation. All right, and our alternate learning program, which I mentioned earlier, last year we had 535 OSS days.
Last school year.
Yeah,
last school year. 24, 25. This school year.
This school year we have saved 206 days on OSS by the alternate learning replacement, and again we have 53 assignments this year. So 53 students have come to us for alternate learning replacement.
Compared to how many last year?
I did not get the total number for last year, but it is significantly higher from last year. I believe we had 100 and something, but I couldn't give you the exact. But I'll get it to you later. I'm going to go ahead. This is one thing, again, we focus on before we raise the bar. We listen to their stories. Before we set goals, we honor their pace. Before we push forward, we walk beside them. True progress begins with understanding and patience. And a lot of our students are trying to figure it out, and we're there to help them.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Watts, how many students do you have right now?
Right now, we have 39 enrolled.
And last year you had 75?
Yes, sir.
So basically half.
Yes, sir.
What do you attribute that to?
Hopefully, it's better behavior in some ways. Again, there's new transitional pieces, I think, that we've had.
What do you mean by that?
We've been looking at how, so as a district, I think we've looked at how students are being referred and trying to take, again, a more systematic approach to looking at what the kid needs before sending them off. I know the other day we have an interdisciplinary team that we meet to discuss the need of the kid with the parent, the student, and the administrators from the high school and myself participated, and the counselor.
So there are more hoops to jump through before we send them there.
I don't know if I'd call it hoops per se, but just, again, trying to make sure it's gonna be the best placement for the students.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Watts, a couple questions just to piggyback Mr. Dozier's. When you reassess, when you have that meeting, right, where at the high school level, middle school level, there's a potential referral, and you assess whether the MLA is the correct fit for them, do you ever go back and reassess and then say Isai was recommended to go to MLA for whatever reason, it was decided that Isai stays at East Middle School? 3 weeks later, I have not improved. Is there a reassessment to then say, hey, you know what, Isai's not improved. How about we revisit the placement at MLA? Or is it once that initial assessment is made, is that done?
In the past, students who come from the middle school have a 45-day period. If you came from the high school, it's for the rest of the semester. And if semester changes, you can go back to your traditional school. If you're following the rules, you haven't had any other incidents.
But I mean, like, if I was stayed at East Middle and didn't improve, like, at what point is it decided that MLA may be the best fit for me?
We've not gotten into that. Most of them have come with that referral, with the interdisciplinary team.
And do teachers on the middle schools, at the high schools, administrators there, do they have a say? Again, to say Isai is not thriving here, it may be best to reassess whether he should be at MLA.
Yes, we do.
And my other question, when you were talking about the Strengthening Families program, what is family engagement like when you feed them?
It's different.
Because you remove a barrier, right? I'm assuming
some of it is just that point of getting them to eat together. Because again, we live in such a fast-paced society that kids are grabbing stuff on the go, and again, just getting the family to sit down and eat together is one of those big things. I know that's one of the things we talk with. We talk about how to communicate with the kids, and this could be a time for communication.
Thank you.
I have a question. Your assessment is not just whether they should stay in the school they're in or go to MLA. You guys have other options for that student, right?
We are exploring different pathways. Like used to, the Strength and Families and Life Skills is one of the things that you had to complete while attending MLA. We're looking at that being part of the process of before you get there, especially students who have shown behaviors a little bit earlier on. If we can see that they've been having these behaviors and everything, maybe we can get them in those programs earlier, and they can get those social skills that they need before they actually have to come to MLA. Or they get to the point where they're getting those referrals that we're having to have those interdisciplinary teams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Mr. Watts.
Thank you. Oh, one more thing. Graduation is the only choice.
Thank you. Great job.
All right, thank you. So next we'll have Star Elementary, and we will have Miss Janet Deaton and her team.
Good evening, board members. I am happy to share some great things about Star Elementary. It is a great source of pride for me. I have with me tonight our instructional facilitator, or as the students say, my twin or my sister, because they confuse us all the time. So we want to share what progress we made last year and what steps we're taking to keep it moving this year. So you have in front of you our school improvement goals, and you see we chose with reading and math just to make small incremental changes so that we're setting our students and staff up for success. And one of the areas that we are focusing on is our achievement gap between our 4th and 5th grade females. When you look at our data, and we'll get into that in just a minute, you'll see that our males are outperforming our females by a pretty good margin in math. All right. So you can see with our reading data, we made measurable growth across all grade levels and subgroups. Look at that real quickly. I know y'all already looked over this, so I don't want to focus on it too long. So, what are our strengths? We met growth in reading last year. We had a positive growth index in reading, which means that all of our students made at least a year's worth of growth, but our proficiency does have room to improve. We attribute a lot of that to strong fidelity to our CKLA curriculum, which has a big focus with math, not just math, but science and social studies. We have hired Title I tutors, and we're really strategic looking at EVOS data, iReady data, check-in data to see who we're putting in those groups. Of course, you know, making sure those subgroups are represented by that as well. We have a lot of PLC meetings that are data-driven. Our teachers are making data mapping templates where they are grouping the students and see who's growing and who is not growing. We did score higher than the state and district average in reading. So what are we going to do to work on that? Again, strengthening our core. We added skills, which is our phonics program that now aligns to CKLA, which will help us in those lower grades. Our students leave kindergarten most of them leave on or above grade level in kindergarten. And you see that drop off in first and second grade. And a lot of that is because it is a huge academic leap to get to be proficient in what is expected of them in first and second grade. So we have been, Star Elementary's had WIN or interventions and accelerations for years. So that's nothing new for us. But this year, what we did with our WIN time was restructure how we were doing that, particularly in second and third grade. We looked at our teachers' data and said, hey, this teacher does really well with our middle group. So we put those middle kids with that teacher. And we did the same thing in third grade, and we're seeing better outcomes with that. So. I talked about this a little bit already, and I'm not trying not to read from this slide and not to take a lot of time, so I'm flying through this, but I'm a fast talker anyway. So, anything you want to add on this before I move on? Okay. We had a great year last year in math. We were a B school, and we had a growth score of 87. We exceeded growth as a school overall, and we exceeded growth in math with all of our subgroups also exceeding or meeting growth in math. I fully would have expected that our data would have dropped a little bit in fifth grade math with the loss of Mr. Bailey and also in science, but Lisa, who was a great fourth and fifth grade teacher, so I wanted her as my if, picked up the planning for that. She started doing all the planning, all the lesson plans, all the copies, along with our substitute who was a certified teacher, Beth Bailey, was in there, and she stuck with us all year long. So this is where you see that we had this growth in fifth grade as well. So how do we, what do we do to get there, having all these subgroups? And again, our females and males, there is a big gap there, but our females still met growth. A lot of our male groups exceeded growth. So this year, we adopted our new math curriculum, which we had asked for probably 7 years. The whole time I'd been at Star, I kept hearing, we need a math curriculum, Ms. Dean, we need a math curriculum, and I would repeat that over to the county office, and we finally got our math curriculum, so this year we are implementing that, and it's going to help us, I think, with multi-step word problems, because our kids read it, and they answer it, and the state always has like a little distractor answer there, which I tell the kids, the state's trying to trick you, don't fall for it. So this math curriculum is helping strengthen that, and as well as our fractions and our tutoring group. We started that last week for after-school tutoring, and that is a heavy focus with math. Those groups were formed by looking at student data specifically to see who was going to benefit the most from doing that. Again, we do have WIN time for this, and our Title I tutor helps pull in tutors for math as well as our after-school tutoring that I just mentioned. We are data tracking, talking about this in PLCs, looking at our check-in data, our iReady data as well. For science, we had a big shift in that last year. With the loss of Mr. Bailey, Miss Henley had to take over teaching all the science, and she was pulling off 5th grade with her at one time to teach that science curriculum. It was a renorming year, and even with that, we scored higher than the state and district average in science. Our proficiency score, even with all the change, remained at above 60%. And one of the things that I think is going to help us even in the long run is CKLA, because it is so science heavy. I tell that all the time to the middle school people. You just wait till you get these kids after all this social studies and science they've had. You're going to be so impressed. So what we're trying to work on this year is improving our overall proficiency, which would be great if we could eliminate combo classes, hint, hint, for next year. Because we do have a 4-5 combo, and I think it puts those 5th graders in that 4-5 combo over them. Miss Hurley's doing a fabulous job with those kids. So we're trying to also eliminate that gap between our Hispanic subgroup and our non-Hispanic subgroup, which you see that data here. We are incorporating more hands-on skills with this and things that kids can do in their own hand. We have an outdoor classroom, and kids are going in there for STEM, which is also heavily focused on science that they're learning in 5th grade as well. So you can see our science data there. We had a small little drop there, but considering everything they went through last year, I was happy to see that that's where we still landed. So we had lots of celebrations, and this is just a few of those. Star Elementary was selected as a recipient of the 2025 Whole Child Award from the North Carolina Association for Teaching, Learning, and Leading. We were excited to get that award. That came with $1,000, so that was extra nice. We did some stuff with our students. We were also officially selected as a signature school and recognized as the P-TECH Signature School Breakfast in December at UNCG, so that was very exciting for all of us. We have been working with Dr. Perkins with young authors, and our tutor, Jewel Hussey, does a lot of work with that. And we had 5 winners, and 3 of those winners are going to go to the state competition, so that's very exciting. We have increased family engagement. I didn't include it in here, but we kicked off Reading Across America last week with our book character parade, and we had a huge turnout for parents coming to watch this parade. And Mr. Blatter came to watch that too, so that was really exciting. We had our very first Veterans Day lunch this year. That was one of the things Dr. Roseborough asked us to incorporate, and the turnout for that was so impressive. And seeing the grandparents, and as a former history teacher, I love being able to just sit down and talk to them and hear all their conversations about what wars and stuff they fought in, so that was a really nice day. We were the recipient, we just found this out a few weeks ago, of the Keep North Carolina Beautiful 2026 KNCB WOO grant for $2,000. So we have been, our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students have been out in that outdoor classroom today with the compost that they were putting in with this grant money, and working on aqueducts with parents out there helping Miss Jewel and our STEM teachers. So that's been really exciting. You'll have to come out and check that out. And because we exceeded growth, Dr. Roseborough recommended that we do a blue party. We had never done that before, even though we exceeded growth. So you see in this picture here, down at the bottom, right here, we decorated the halls all up with all blue streamers, balloons, blue lights. The kids were like, wow, coming in. Everybody was wearing blue. And I always plan fun things for my staff, like scavenger hunts, and the students always want to participate in those. And so what I did for this was create a scavenger hunt for them. I hid 100 blue items all over that school, and if they found one, they got to bring it to the office for a piece of candy. So they were super excited to be doing the scavenger hunt instead of the teacher doing that scavenger hunt. And you can see some of the other, of course, performance, always a huge turnout for that. Miss Murray does a fabulous job. Miss Crump's Twinkle Toes up here, our students running and placing. I think Mr. Castro that was up here big and recognized, he was a star runner. So we start them young, and you see all the students in our running club. I think we had 57 students in our running club last year. We have some images here of our Veterans Day and parent turnout for that. All these celebrations are special, and it makes Star who we are, but it is also what creates our climate and culture in the building. So, do you have any questions for me at this time?
Good job.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Mrs. Eden, thank you all for your hard work, and I know it's hard work, you know, when you're at the top, you're trying to stay at the top. I think you all will because of the work that you put in each and every day. So thank you, thank you.
Always want more.
Thank you.
All right, so next we'll go with our finance, and Miss Brady is under the weather today, so Dr. Roseborough and Mr. Lowe. We brought him out of hiding.
That's right.
He is here for support.
So Mr. Lowe will be answering some of those difficult questions in case I don't have all of those details. Since this is my first year as superintendent, and we're going to start with our budget amendment. So we had a couple of increases this month in our state funds. We had an increase of $175,681 to our state budget. There were increases in PRC 13, PRC 16, PRC 32. There was a decrease for district funds were revised due to head count, and we had an increase of PRC 73 and an increase in PRC 85 and an increase to PRC 87. There was no changes into the local funds. Our federal funds received an increase as well of $274 in federal funds budgeted. We also had an increase in PRC 105 and PRC 145, which is our Strong Connections grant. The capital outlay funds, there was an increase to capital outlay, and the increase was for our hot water heater that we put in at Star Elementary School. And then child nutrition, there was no change. And special local fund 8, there was an increase of $185,000.87 for our Safer Schools grant, which will allow us to do some of our increases into Safer Schools. Some items that we had identified that were needed. And overall, these adjustments resulted in an increase of $387,004.98 for a total of 2025-2026 budget for Montgomery County Schools. Do you have any questions?
Is any of this coming out of our balance fund? This is just money that's switched around from the.
This is our state and federal.
It's just additional state allotment.
Okay.
For the Safer School grants, have all the elementary schools now gonna have the vestibules?
That's what we're still working off of that
finishes that
2020 needs-based grant.
Okay, so
So there were some leftover projects for that, and we have that in our proposal that we're getting ready to go over.
Okay. So do we need a motion for this?
Yes, we need a motion to approve, and we have it down on the consent agenda. We're going to come back out to approve the budget for amendment.
C. Okay.
Okay, so as you may recall, we had a nice budget workshop where we talked about the need for a continuation budget and what we actually need for the upcoming school year. We have since added some of the additional requests that we have talked about throughout the school year, and we would like, for the board to share with us, whether or not you want these included into our proposal to the county commissioners in March. So we are asking for the board's opinion on which things they would like to include or exclude in terms of our continuation budget and expansion costs.
Can you read those? Because my computer has died again.
Okay, yes, sir.
Is it in this? No.
Okay, the board may recall that we are asking for continuation costs of $325,000. That was discussed at our board work session, and many of these costs is for our salary increases that we anticipate possibly from the state. So this is locally paid personnel, including classified and certified employees. A 2.5 classified increase is proposed for the 2-year state budget. Increasing all local salaries by 4% accounts for varying certified salary increases. So this is anticipated from the state, what we may get. Insurance matching cost was $22,000. Retirement matching cost was $45,000. Liability, workers' comp, unemployment, property, life, and athletic insurance was $29,000. Also, our utilities, energy, water, garbage, and fuel was at $61,000 for. And then we also looked at our charter school growth at $32,000. So we're looking at asking for $325,000 for continuation costs for this upcoming school year to do business as usual.
This is an increase of $325,000 over last year.
Yes.
And this is how it's going to be spent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if the legislative is giving a salary increase, you're talking about matching it? I mean, what are we talking about doing?
For your local paid employees, because so the state will, if the state raises salaries by say 2.5%, they'll build that increase into the state allotments, but then you're responsible for your local salary increase for your local employees.
Okay, and we came up with 4%. How? Is that what the state suggested?
The state suggests this 2-year budget for the state for classified is 2.5%, but your certified salaries are on schedule, so they vary. So we built 4% to cover everybody as an average.
But that's what we did. That's not what the state suggested.
Well, that's what we would be asking for. We don't know what the state's going to do yet, but that's what we're proposing that we would ask for from the commissioners to have enough money to implement those raises come July or August or whenever they pass the state budget.
And we're asking for an increase in insurance. What insurance is that?
It would be the matching insurance on your employees. It would be the health insurance. Because once again, right now you're paying $8,500 a year for the matching insurance fee. So if the matching insurance rate at the state level goes up, then once again you got to pay for your local employees.
So we've gone from 85
to 89
to 22. Well, this is saying 22,000.
So here's the thing. So
that second line where it's 8,500. It was it's now 8,900.
Right. That's what's proposed in the second year of the biennium. So it's 8,500 this year. They're proposing 8,905. Now that could change. It might be a little bit less. It might be a little bit more. But that's what we have to go on right now. So if it goes to that rate, it would cost you locally for your local employees about $22,000. So that's why we're saying we would be asking the county. All of this is tied to this is how much money we need to operate next year. And
So the county would pick up all the increase, not the employee?
Yeah, the school system has to pay. This is matching insurance, so this is the employer cost, not the employee cost.
Okay. And the retirement matching costs, whose retirement are we talking about?
Locally paid employees.
All this locally paid.
Yeah, this is all about your local cost.
Right here.
Yes. Mr. Blake said, so we can break even.
Yes, apples to apples, you need about $325,000 to continue on as normal.
Just to maintain the status quo as far as staffing, health insurance, retirement, again, local salaries, all of that, just to maintain the status quo, it's going to cost us an additional $325,000 that we're going to have to request from the county commissioners, correct?
That's right.
And what did we get from them last year?
So, total.
Yes, the total ask last year with everything, not just the continuation, was $6,379,300.
Yeah, my question is these items. what did we get from them last year for
We
these
didn't break
items?
that out, we just have the total package, we did not break them out.
Well, why wouldn't we break that out? Because this
Well,
is what
we
we're
can.
asking for,
Right.
so we ought to know what they gave us last year.
We do have a cost comparison sheet attached in there. We would have to go back and just add up the items that are on the continuation budget.
Because they're gonna wanna know, how much did we give you for these items last year?
Right.
And why are you asking us for an increase
So
this
if
year?
you look on the attachment, in there, you'll see the attachment for the cost of items during the 25-26 school year. We would just have to go back and pull out those items so that you can see what that total continuation cost was. So you do have a cost comparison sheet for each item broken out, itemized for you for the 25-26 school year and what we're asking for the 26-27 school year.
So with, again, local salaries, local insurance, local retirement, to maintain the status quo, it's gonna cost us an additional $325,000. So with any vacancies that we have at the central office or local positions, it sounds like it would behoove the district to backfill those positions at lower salaries so that we ask for less and save more. Is that correct?
Well, it depends on what the local, who is our local people that we're paying? Do you, just,
Yeah, who are the local?
just, no, we don't have to know names, but just like in general,
What-
is it a
what positions?
particular?
So all of your maintenance staff are locally paid, so the
Okay.
state gives you no money for maintenance.
Okay.
In a lot of your state programs, and this holds true for all school systems, it doesn't totally fund the entire program, so the local has to be a supplement on top of your state, so the state will hardly ever give you enough money for central office directors and supervisors. So you have to have a local budget for that. So you probably, just in my experience with school systems, custodians would be another one. You know, the state doesn't give you enough money for clerical and custodians. You have to have a local budget on top of that. So a lot of your locally paid people are going to be the classified people in those categories, not necessarily teachers, media specialists, guys, not necessarily those. A lot of times your state budget will cover the majority of those in the school system this size, but a lot of those classified salaries, there has to be a local supplement or a local budget.
Are our instructional facilitators paid locally, out of local funds?
I don't know that specifically.
We have some
I
that,
thought we had some.
some that are paid out of local, but most of our, positions at our central office level are state funded positions.
Right.
Our assistant superintendents are state funded, positions.
So,
But if we have like some directors, they may be in either state or they may be in local.
Right, and I was thinking about in our schools,
Some of them
schools
are.
and some of our APs.
Right now, the last time I checked, your principals and assistant principals are all being paid by state money.
Great.
Yeah, that was good because I was looking at that just the other day.
Okay.
So this money here, is it for teachers? This is for central office staff?
Well, this would be more for classified.
Classified.
Classified, so yeah, clerical, maintenance, custodial, substitute teachers, a lot of times will come out here because you won't have enough money in the state.
The retirement matching, all that's for them?
It is attached to them, yes.
I got you.
Okay,
It's
so.
basically, you're always going to zero out all your state money one way or the other.
Mhm.
And you want to spend that money as efficiently as possible because you have position allotments and you have dollar allotments, and you want to put all your higher paid people in position allotments to maximize those positions. At the end of the day, you're going to spend all your state money and you're going to try not to spend all your local money, but
Okay, so this is just so that we can do business as usual, as we stated before. And we have what we call expansion requests. These are some additional items that we would like the board's input on, and also for consideration of including it in our proposal. So we are suggesting that we increase our bus driver pay by 7.13%, starting with a minimum rate of $16.07. Right now, everybody's being paid the $15 an hour. So this would allow for us to start developing a step increase for our bus drivers, and then they would then, after they get their initial raise, they will start to follow the step increase salary schedule. And we're looking at option 2, correct, Mr. Lowe?
Yeah. Option
2 is.
That's really the only option. There was an option 1, but it really didn't make too much sense. So option 2 on the, oh, I thought you were talking about the bus driver.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Go back
to the bus driver.
Right. Yeah, so basically, that would be taking, like Dr. Roper said, taking the minimum pay of $16.07, but then also giving an across the board raise of 7.13, so everybody gets bumped up. So that the bus drivers that make more than $15 an hour now wouldn't cry foul and say, well, I didn't get a raise, you know, I was already over the minimum or whatever. And so that would help you hopefully to attract bus drivers, but that would be a one-time adjustment that we projected to be about $54,000. Once you got to that level, then they'd follow the classified schedule and get whatever the state raise was for classified individuals, and potentially another step increase, and that would be the second item that we would be requesting.
How many bus drivers do we have now?
We're trying to get a more accurate count. We know that right now on our transportation roster, it says we're running 54 buses, but we know that people run dual routes. So we have had to double up with the loss of some of our bus drivers, but we can also provide you with more accurate information of that.
Here's my question. We don't know how many bus drivers we've got. How do we know it's a $54,000 increase?
I took basically what was being paid out. I don't know the exact number of bus drivers, but I took what was being paid out on a monthly basis to your bus drivers based on the rate of what you're making.
And how many of them are making more than $16 an hour now?
I think I'm just going to tell you off the top of my head and looking at that payroll spreadsheet. I think half of your bus drivers half of them were probably making the minimum $15, and then you had 1607 was kind of the middle ground.
And how did we come up with why some are making more than others?
Probably how many years they've been
It
there.
would be experience, would be my guess. It would be experience.
Because they've been getting those raises when we get the 2%.
Where they get the raises with the state, so they haven't been getting anything locally. And so if the state doesn't give a raise, then you just make the $15 an hour. And then we really don't have a step salary schedule like most districts. So we're just kind of flatline. So that's why we're trying to put a step salary schedule in place for our classified employees.
Not just bus drivers, all classified.
No, that's what we have here.
Okay.
So after the bus drivers get their initial raise, then they will then follow suit on the classified step increase schedule. So we are proposing option 2 with the annual 1.5 step increase for the upcoming school year to make the ask. It's always better to ask than not ask. So this is something that we think that we need to do to be competitive with the districts around us, also to retain our current workforce, because they are well aware of what other districts are making around us and how they get their increases each year. So this actually came out of our classified advisory. Some of those folks are in the audience, so they know that these are things that I told them that I would present on their behalf.
So let me get this straight. We're asking for $325,000 increase over last year, plus another $54,000 for bus drivers and another $77,000 for classified.
177.
What's that now?
177.
What did I say, 77? I'm sorry, 177? So we're talking about over $500,000 is what we're asking them to increase versus last year. Just want to get my head around that. So,
That's an expansion, so that's the cherry on top, so to speak. We're asking. Doesn't mean we're gonna get it, but we need to ask on behalf of our employees. Okay. The next expansion item, which is an additional ask, is our capital outlay expansion request. Now, Mr. Lowe and I, this process for capital outlay is a little different from what we're both accustomed to, but we talked with our county manager, and these funds are there. So we're just actually applying those funds to items. So the money has been there, it's close to $1 million in the account.
And this capital.
In the capital outlay. So the money is there.
Okay.
And we're just now outlining what we're going to use those funds for. So it just depends on if they're going to say it's an allowable expense for the funds. So for the 1 cent tax revenue, we have allotted $100,000 to go towards our technology and Chromebook laptop needs. And then we have the 2020 needs-based grant, which requires a 5% local match that we receive, and that is for the complete the projects for the security vestibules or any other improvements to existing sites that the state says we can use that for because the pricing has changed since 2020. So we would have to get clearance on using it for an additional improvement that maybe we didn't plan for. But right now we're looking forward to just going ahead and doing the vestibules, but it depends on how much it's going to cost because when we got the bids for those projects, it was in 2020. And they've just been at a standstill.
Are left?
I think it's Candor, West Middle, and Mount Gilead.
Still needs it.
And East, I think, something about East.
No, East
I don't know if it's East has it. West is going to have one that looks like East.
and that's $2 million.
Well, that's how much money we have left on the needs-based grant. So we have to do projects according to what we have left. So we may not be able to complete all the schools. We will only be able to complete what we have left. Then we also, doubled the capital outlay expense for paving our parking lots. It was suggested to us by Mr. Manis that we need to think about preserving our parking lots ahead of time, being proactive with that. We have had some surprise HVAC repairs. We currently don't have an HVAC person, so we're having a contract. We may have some roofing needs that we did not anticipate, plumbing, electrical, any type of ADA updates, and other emergency repairs and renovations to our existing buildings. So we just doubled the cost there as a safety net for us for the upcoming school year to take care of our capital needs. And also while we are awaiting our facilities needs assessment. So they do know that we're waiting on a facilities needs assessment, and we can request what our needs are as those things happen, but it's better to have a plan and work within a budget than going before them and just kind of sending in requests one at a time. We want them to know what those needs are. So Bill is working on some of those needs to be explicit so we have them in our proposal when we go next week.
Dr. Roseborough, can I ask a question about the technology needs?
Yes.
I know when we had our work session, we talked about it a lot that day, and since then I've read some articles, I've done a little bit of reading about technology in our classrooms. Are we still looking to be a one-to-one district, or could we taper that back some?
Yes, that's the conversation.
Okay.
Yes, we've been doing our research too.
Okay.
And I shared with Bill. Share with Brian that at our last superintendent's meeting, a lot of the schools have returned back or had to return back to the carts, assigning 26 laptops to individual classrooms to cut costs. They've continued the one-to-one for the high school students and early college students. They didn't want to say one-to-one for the early college students and not do that for the high school students. So that's what a lot of the superintendents are having to do while we're waiting to see
whether or not technology is even gonna be funded in the upcoming state budget. So, Mr. Lowe and I, when we talked about it, we said, well, we feel like 100,000 is a modest amount for the amount of funds that are in that 1 cent.
But I'm glad that's a conversation happening. I would love to think that our elementary students would not have that laptop in front of them as much. Thank you.
Okay, so this presentation was for informational purposes only. We want to hear from you regarding, are these some of the items, do you want us to proceed with the ask? Do you want to go with the classified salary step increase at 1% or 1.5% to see what we're able to do?
I love that the bus drivers are on there. That's definitely an area that we hear about a lot, as we should, because I think, Dr. Robledo, you've said it before, you can go work at McDonald's and make more money than driving a bus, and it's a lot more responsibility. So I think we have to ask.
And the same for a classified staff. I mean, they can change their commute by 10 minutes and be in another district making so much more money. So I think they are far overdue for some attention. And I think this is a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, it is a big ask, but I think we owe it to them.
I think a lot of our classified staff, especially in recent years, have had to step in and do a lot of the work that the certified folks are doing, and I think we do owe them the ask because of that.
I think I've said every dollar at our disposal should be allocated to the student learning environment, and this is, in my opinion, and so I think taking care of our bus drivers and our classified staff with option 2 impacts student learning environment, just like eventually we need to take care of our food and nutrition staff. I mean, every classified employee, I think, needs some attention and some appreciation from us.
Okay. So we are going to go with option 2 in the proposal.
Do you need a vote on that, or are we just going by consensus?
That would be up to you, depending on the budget of the board.
We do have a couple of questions. If you'll pull up the full budget attachment. Yeah, I took a look at what we as a board approved May 5th, 2025 for the upcoming year, and I compared it to what's listed here today, and I saw some discrepancy, some differences that I was hoping to get clarification on. First of all, from the local budget, when we look at the teacher salaries, how many positions does that cover? The same with principals, assistant principals, and then you look at the higher amount of administrative salaries, how many positions does that cover?
And so,
I don't need titles, but just how many teachers versus how many administrative salaries?
and so what I'll say is this. So when I was working with Michelle on this, I pulled up, or Michelle found this document that Mitch had presented or used at some point. And so when I compared the budgeted numbers, they didn't necessarily agree with what was in the system for this year's budget. And then also I was a little concerned that it might not, in some cases, it might not be enough to cover what we might actually spend this year. So I asked Michelle, I said, maybe we should change the heading to budget/expense. So that's why the budget numbers you had for May of last year won't agree with these budget numbers.
Yeah.
And so, yes, there are discrepancies, but it was, they did not agree when she presented me with this spreadsheet versus what was actually in the system right now for this school year. So, and then to answer your question, so the teacher salaries right now, I wouldn't necessarily say those are just like classroom teachers. There are some certified salaries in there. And that's why we were saying, let's use this average of 4% for our projection to cover the classified rates plus the certified I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what those positions were, but teacher salaries, to me, I saw more just like maybe instructional support, some instructional support positions, that were certified. So, principal and assistant principals, even though 125 may have been budgeted for last year, I don't necessarily see that being spent this year. But I can't say that for certain because I'm not sure exactly how the last 4 months of the year will work out. So I wanted to leave that number in there and use that as part of the 4% calculation. And so I don't really have a count on how many is in each one. I was basically taking the number that was already on the spreadsheet and looking at what has been spent, and if it needed to be increased a little bit to cover the expense, I went ahead and increased that number so that we wouldn't back ourselves into a hole by not requesting enough to cover what we're actually spending this year. Because there can be, because you're referencing, numbers from last May, so there could be a big difference in what was talked about in budgeted for last May versus where we are right now. And you see it when it comes up short, basically.
Yeah. But again, I'm curious, how many positions does that 633,000 account for versus in the administrative salaries? That's not that big of a difference. So how many positions does that 428,000 account for?
Yeah. I can tell you right now, ballpark on the teacher salaries or the certified salaries, 633 is going to equate to probably around, with benefits, probably, well, that number would not have benefits in it, so you're probably looking at about maybe 15 positions total. Yeah. But that's just off the top of my head, so
and again, administrative salaries?
Yeah, and so the administrative salaries, in some cases, you're not going to have the entire director or supervisor paid out of local funds 100%. You might have them split. And in this case, you're talking about probably based on your average salaries, I'd say maybe 5 or 6. But once again, at the end of the day, or at the end of the year, you're talking about, hey, we're going to spend all of our state OSU on our central office directors, and whatever is over and beyond that is going to fall into local.
But are those 6, are we talking about principals, or are we talking about?
That would be central office.
Central office.
And we get 669,000 approximately for our 6 positions.
And we're still spending an additional. And we're still spending an additional 400.
But they might be split, like you stated. There might be some splits here, but the key positions that we have, all of our assistant suits, they are paid out of state funds.
Because it just seems like, again, that money should be in the student learning environment, not in administrative salaries. And also looking at the substitute teachers. Last year, we approved roughly 210,000 for this academic year. And then looking at that figure there, you see we're planning to expend 361,000. Like, is that teacher turnover? How are we? Because that's a significantly higher amount than the 210 we had anticipated spending. So what is the story behind a much higher substitute teacher expense?
Yeah, and I can't speak to the numbers that were budgeted last year. I'm just kind of looking at what potentially we could spend not really year this year. So I'm not sure how Mitch may have arrived at that number for budget last year.
And, our classified staff has expressed concern about teacher attendance, and they have to cover those classes. So they are also accounted for as being substitute teachers.
One other question. Last year, in the other stipends category, we approved 0. And so now it looks like 70,365 has gone to stipends, and we're requesting 73,000. Who is giving and who is getting stipends?
Well, that depends on the situation. We do have various employees that are given stipends for additional responsibilities. So that could be, it just depends on the category of employee and what they are asked to do.
Are these central office employees, or these principals, what are these?
It could be teachers as well, taking on additional other teachers' classes to cover so that they don't have to have an actual substitute. They have an additional highly qualified teacher like we're doing at Troy. You know, we have a teacher at Troy. She's getting that allotment for that other class, and they're paying for a substitute to cover her class while she can go and deliver instruction to the other students for reading and math. And we call those advanced teaching roles in North Carolina. That is a real thing that we're doing in North Carolina, where they are job sharing so that they can ensure students have high quality instruction. We may also have some teacher assistants that are also subbing or doing double duty after school or running a club or something like that, that the principal wants to supplement their pay to give them that additional stipend. Over here at the central office, you know, we're getting ready to go through modernization. So that's going to require some additional hours of our classified employees in finance and HR. I mean, they won't be able to get it done within the normal hours, so we anticipate having to give them a stipend for the additional work that has to be done, because we do have to build out our workflows. We currently do not have our workflows written out. So we've got to spend some time tracking our financial procedures, creating a financial procedures handbook, looking at our current HR handbook and our processes and procedures for that. And also just looking at what we have to gather in terms of data migration with Brian's team, technology team. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Several pieces.
It's different categories.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we even have coaches and things that are doing additional duties for kids after school.
With the number of employees we have, it doesn't seem like a whole lot.
Within that, so for what it says there for salaries, that also includes health insurance, or?
It's down below.
It's down below. Okay, so what we see there for substitute teachers or new teacher bonus or whatever, that's the number.
That would be the local number. Now, that's not to say you might not be spending some state money on subs also.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's still
this is
just-
all just your local
on top of.
Right.
Right, yes.
So we're spending way more than 361,000 on subs.
Well,
when you factor in state.
You could be. It just depends, because you only get so much state O3 money. That's where subs are paid from. And so you can choose to spend that money on custodians or clerical or whatever. You might choose to spend some of it on subs, or you might say, okay, we're just going to code all of our subs to local. It just depends. At the end of the day, you're going to spend all that state money, and then whatever else you need is going to fall into local. And I understand exactly what you're looking at. I would just say that before I saw this document, I took your, in other words, coming up with the continuation cost of $325,000. Before I even knew this document existed, to come up with that $325, I looked at all those individual local accounts this year and those expenditures this year and projected those out for the year, and that's how I came up with that $325 number. Then when I was presented this document, I said, well, we need to be consistent with that $325 number, because I feel good about that number. So then I just fit that number into this spreadsheet. So that's why, good or bad, don't get too hung up on what was in that budget column, because the 325 number is a good number for continuation costs, for what you need in your local budget to continue on. Because like I said, I didn't necessarily agree with the budgeted amounts in this column the way it was, from last year. Either it didn't necessarily agree with what was in the system, or I looked and thought, yeah, in some of those cases, you're going to spend more than what's budgeted. And so I thought, well, if I built the budget on that number, then you're going to come up short next year. So that's why I feel good about the $325,000 number as a total.
So So this is what we are going to also send when we go to the March 11th meeting.
We'll have a PowerPoint presentation. We'll make sure that they have this document as well for transparency. But I can assure you that we are using every dollar to make sure students have high quality instruction and also high quality staff members. So we want the very best for the children of Montgomery County Schools, and it does not hurt to ask.
Do we have a backup plan if they say no?
Well, if they don't,
Or
if they say no to the expansion, I don't know if they will say no to us meeting the 325.
What now?
I said I can't see them just saying flat out no to the 325,000 that we need to pay our bills and continue on. The expansion items are things that we know that our employees have asked of us, and we feel like we should just go ahead and ask for the expansion items.
So if we don't get the expansion, we could shift those 70,000 stipend dollars into bus drivers, and that would cover that.
Well, I don't know if that would be the case, because that's the teachers in different categories of employees.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could, it would just, somebody have to determine. I don't know all the details.
We did that back in the whole budget.
All right, I would feel more comfortable that we all just vote to say that this is good to the commissioners so that we all look like a unified. So I'm looking for a motion to share this with the commissioners on the March 11th date. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second? No second?
Second. A second.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And let me say, I'll say one more thing. At the end of the day, this is all local money that we're talking about. And so at the end of the day, if there are things that need to be discussed on how the local money is divided up, then that's fine. We're not going to discuss that and have those talks. But the main thing is let's get that local money secured for next year. Let's make that ask. And then, because at the end of this year, once this year's over, Michelle can produce a report that shows you exactly how these dollars were spent. And that's why I didn't want to get too caught up in how they were budgeted last year or what that budget call looks like this year. The main thing is we get a good solid ask and request from the commissioners on that amount of money that we feel good about, which is what we did. And then Michelle can produce a report at the end of the year that says, okay, this is how we spend all of our local money, this is how we spend all of our state money. And then y'all can have discussions going forward after that, if that makes sense.
Well, we appreciate all your help.
Oh, you're welcome.
With Michelle, I hate that she's feeling bad. I hate that, but I'm thankful that you could be here to help.
She was really sick, and then she felt even worse about not being sick. I mean, she did. But I'm sorry, I don't know all the specifics but you know, I kind of.
You did a good job.
Well,
we appreciate it.
I just want to make sure that.
And good job, Dr. Roseborough. This was good for you too.
Thank you, thank you. I have a wingman. I appreciate that.
All right, we'll move to the superintendent's update.
Okay. So tonight for our superintendent's update, we have a couple of thank yous. We really want to thank Dr. Perkins and the entire senior team, staff, NC State, all of our parents and board members that came out to support our STEAM night. We had a great time. It was good to see new families as well as existing families, and we are truly appreciative of our teacher leaders that showed up, and they participated in having some different activities for the students to really expand their knowledge of STEAM. And also our band students and theater students, because they are the A in STEAM for the arts. It was a tremendous event, And it took a lot of work and a lot of preparation, and we are truly appreciative to everyone that helped to put that on. And it was a collaborative effort as well.
So we know how many parents showed up?
I don't know. Dr. Perkins, did you? 65? We had about 65.
65.
Some great pictures. I know Miss Smith had a really good picture with something. There was a good picture of you on Facebook.
Yeah, with what's his name? The dog.
Yeah,
Clifford.
Clifford.
Oh, yeah, with Clifford and the Timberwolf.
Yeah, it was a good picture.
Then we have Read Across America this week, March 2nd through the 6th, and so we hope that you all will come out and help support Read Across America. We all are signed up for this week, and we also have March recognitions. It is also SEL month as well. It's not on here, but lots of things happening during the month of March. Women's History Month, National School Breakfast Week, Music in Our Schools Month, National Social Work Month, STEM and STEAM Month, and there are more. And I'm sure that we missed some, but we know that there are more during the month of March. We have had our strategic plan timeline adjusted. We'll send the final approval to the board in April because we need time to go through our school level feedback, and then we also have our public feedback. So we wanted to have some time to kind of look at that and hopefully have that final approval back to you in April once we can comb through the feedback that has been provided. We have attached the strategic plan survey results for the board to see. We had over 41 respondents. We would like more, of course, but some of the recurring themes in our open-ended questions is that the most important priorities for the public is retaining strong teachers and principals, reducing micromanagement, mandates and constant program changes, protecting planning time and professional autonomy, improving morale, trust, and communication from administration, ensuring principals support teachers consistently and fairly, and competitive compensation and recognition. What were our strengths for the strategic plan? And they feel like those things need to be protected, dedicated and caring teachers and staff, strong community partnerships, commitment to school safety, robust CTE and early college opportunities, positive momentum under current leadership, strong school cultures and diversity, solid technology infrastructure, renewed emphasis on student achievement, data-driven decision-making, and high expectations for growth. And then we have our pie charts. We had most of our respondents, they were a parent or guardian or caregivers. When it comes to student learning, early literacy seems to be what they feel is the most important, is the highest priority, is early literacy. And then followed by advanced learning and enrichment for students, in college and career readiness. And 5, which student support area is the most important to you that we should prioritize? 43.9% said consistent behavior expectations, followed by mental health. Which operational improvement should be the district's priority area? And 24.4% said facility upgrades and modern learning environments. Which investment would most strengthen staff effectiveness and retention? 61% said competitive compensation and incentives. What is the best way for the district to strengthen communication and engagement? 26.8 said more proactive updates and two-way communication. How well do the proposed strategic plan goals reflect the needs of our students, staff, and community? 39% said well, and somewhat was 31.7. And then overall, how confident are we that the district strategic plan will move our schools in a positive direction? 39% said somewhat confident and 24.4% said confident. So our principals were asked in February at the principals meeting to gather staff and stakeholder feedback on each strategic plan goal area at their school sites. Schools engaged in reviewing the goals, identifying strengths, and recommending revisions based on real implementation needs. The volume and depth of the feedback require additional time, as I stated before, to analyze and incorporate into the next draft if needed, and then revised goals and action steps will be finalized after the review cycle. The updated strategic plan will be presented to the board meeting or a work session for discussion and alignment.
Can we see the raw data on the survey responses?
Sure.
And how many actually?
We only had about 41 responses. And, we would like
and this
more.
was from employees?
That's from the public.
Oh, from the public.
Yes, the employees, schools are still diving into the information since
So
the February meeting.
If at the school level they're still reviewing and providing feedback, could we extend?
Yes, that's what we're doing.
Like I'm saying for the public?
Yes.
Like for them to give?
We
give
can
them
just
more
keep
time?
it up. Yeah,
Okay.
we could do that.
Then it all just closes at once.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do because the schools have a Google Doc that they're putting all of their information in.
Let me back up just a minute. I'm sorry. This is dead and I'm having a hard time with this. In your own words, what are the most important priorities our district should focus on over the next 3 to 5 years? Who did we ask this question to?
The public.
The public? And the public said retaining strong teachers. I understand saying that. And the public said reducing micromanagement.
Well, it could be teachers too. They have access to it as well, Mr. Dozier. Everybody had access to it. Yeah.
Improving morale and trust and communication from administration. I mean, reducing micromanagement, improving morale. That had to come from employees. That was okay. Yeah, I just wonder where that was coming
That
from.
means they felt more comfortable sharing it anonymously as a community member versus within their school.
Right.
Maybe they're a parent too, you know.
Well, true.
And they're
So,
still our public.
Yeah, they're still our public, you're right.
and that was 41 people
Right. We only had
responded and
41
came up with these things right here.
from the survey that we distributed.
And we have how many employees?
800 and something, 600 and something, I believe. 600 and something.
And 3,500 students.
We'll just leave it out for more time for that, but we'll do another call out to let folks know that it's out there for them to participate in the survey.
Was this before our baskets went out? Because we tried to show some love.
We'll encourage everyone to participate and so we can get some more feedback.
Okay.
And then we'll get the raw data, right?
Yes, you can have the raw data.
Thank you.
You want the 41?
Yeah, yeah. When we put out the surveys for superintendent search, I read through every single comment in English and in Spanish multiple times. So this is important to me.
Okay.
All right, we're going to be going into closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel and to receive legal counsel. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Ms. Taylor, a second? Everybody's on the second. All right, all approved?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, welcome back to open session. We will now go to vote our consent agenda items. The first being the meeting minutes for approval for February 9th. I need a motion to approve. All right, second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the next is our personnel and auxiliary reports. I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
All right, I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I have the early graduation request of the 2 students that were in our packet. I have a motion. All right, second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and our budget amendment that was shown to us today by Dr. Roseborough earlier in the meeting. Do I have a motion?
You mean to present?
What? Budget amendment that was presented by Dr. Roseborough?
To present to the.
No, the amendment to begin with.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So our next board meeting will be March 30th.
How many schools are gonna be presented? I think we have 3 tonight.
We only have 2.
Only have 2.
The community school was the extra.
Okay.
And the school.
There's a contract.
Oh, I thought it was on personnel report.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That was supposed to be separate.
I don't have it in front of me, I'll give it to you. So we have a contract that is, for the, Assistant Superintendent of HR and Communications. Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Raise your hand.
Okay, let's raise our hands. All those in favor? All right, motion carries. All those opposed? Make note of that in the minutes. Any other questions before we adjourn? All right, we will see you March 30th at our next meeting, March 17th at the school visits.
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Huh, do we have to? Motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Second.
Dozier and, okay, Tommy. All right, all in favor? Thank y'all. Have a good night.